St. Mary's County is making decisions right now that could impact the next 20 to 25 years in this county. Watch this video to find out exactly what they're proposing. Hey, my name is Rob Scout. I'm a realtor down here in Southern Maryland with EXP Realty, and the whole goal of this channel is to help you really know more about moving to Southern Maryland or living in Southern Maryland. So if you have any questions or need any help, use the contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help any way that I possibly can. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Now, just a few days ago, the St. Mary's County Planning Commission met and voted to pass along the St. Mary's 2050 plan to the county commissioners. Now, what does that mean? It means they've approved it, and now it's really up to the county commissioners to decide if they're going to implement the St. Mary's County 2050 plan. Now, if you don't know what the St. Mary's County 2050 plan is, it's basically the comprehensive plan for the St. Mary's County for the next 20 to 25 years. The last time it was updated was 2010, so that was about 16 years ago, and with all the growth that's happening, people are feeling like it needs to be updated again. Now, the whole point of this document is to really guide land use, growth, and public investment for the next 25 years. So it's not some document that's just like a planning committee that's going to sit on the shelf. What happens in this document, or what is in this document, is going to have an impact on everyday people's lives when it comes to development and real estate in St. Mary's County. The whole process of the St. Mary's County 2050 plan started around 2024, maybe a little bit earlier than that, and there was tons of opportunities for people to provide public input. Now, at the time, honestly, not many people did it. I think 1% of St. Mary's County population actually responded to requests for input on the plan, and I'm not saying it shows, because I think some of the stuff inside the 2050 plan is good, but it should have more community involvement. And I think it's something that now that people are seeing what's in the plan, they want to have more involvement in it. And one of the most controversial things that have happened recently is that some owners of some properties that were previously rural preservation district have started to ask for those designations to be changed to allow development. Now, this was Stanley Martin that owned it, and it's right behind Wildwood. It became a really, really big issue, a big topic, and I can see why. It's a lot of land in an area that is zoned rural preservation district, but the reality is places like California, Maryland, in the St. Mary's County 2050 plan are going to see land changes. And even if that Stanley Martin land change doesn't happen now, it's more than likely going to happen with the 2050 plan, because what is going to be proposed is areas like California, Leonardtown, even Piney Point, Lexington Park, Charlotte Hall are all going to be designated places that they're going to encourage development. Now, what that exactly means is yet to be seen, but it means that some of the land uses are going to change. In areas that have big plots of land like that, they're gonna most likely to be developed, especially since that plot of land, even though it's zoned rural preservation district, it's in between two really heavily populated areas, and the path of progress is coming right for that land. And honestly, what this leads to is the question of, why are we even building more? And the answer is the contractors and the base are really demanding it right now, because we're growing so much. We need more infrastructure in the area to be able to handle that growth. More houses, more schools, more hospitals, more stores, more roads, better roads, all that kind of stuff needs to start coming to the area to be able to support all the jobs that are being created and brought to St. Mary's County. Now, I've heard a lot of people say they don't want St. Mary's County to be the next Waldorf, and I get what they're saying. You don't want this area that is kind of characterless, where you're just driving down and there's strip malls everywhere. But I don't think that's going to happen in St. Mary's County, especially with the 2050 plan. They're trying hard not to make the development sprawl. They're trying to keep it in 1 or 2 or 3 concentrated areas and still preserve that rural feel that St. Mary's County has, while still adding enough housing to make it so the very real housing shortage we have going on right now is hopefully somewhat addressed. Also, I don't think we're ever going to turn into a Waldorf kind of place, because St. Mary's County isn't a bedroom community. So a bedroom community is when someone that lives in Waldorf or lives in a place actually lives there, but then commutes outside completely of the area to work and then only comes back to sleep. St. Mary's County is not that. A lot of the people that are coming into St. Mary's County are working for the contractors or the base itself. So your money and your people are staying within that community, which means you're going to have more of a community feel because people are going to be investing, living, working, doing all their stuff right there in that one area where they work. Now, honestly, I'm more pro growth than just keeping it the way it is, but I do agree that infrastructure needs to happen to really be able to keep up with this growth. I was a teacher for 15 years, so I get that there's crowded classrooms and limited resources already, but we also have to prove that we need to have more classrooms, that we need to have more resources, that we need a bigger hospital to be able to get those things. It's not just like they're going to build it and they will come. They have to come first and then we have to build it. And it's going to create a uncomfortable point of time where we feel like everything is kind of bursting at the seams, but hopefully the infrastructure does start catching up to demand. And that's the hope with housing too. We're seeing a lot more building than we have in previous years in St. Mary's County. And the whole hope of that is we can start getting inventory caught up to demand. Now, I did say I was pro-growth, but I'm pro-smart growth, and in my opinion, that's one of the best parts of the 2050 plan. Now, I do think they're promoting growth in some areas that maybe it shouldn't happen. Piney Point, where I used to live, is one of those areas. It's considered a town center, and it's promoting more growth down there. You know, it does have a sewer system, but it is right on the water. You're getting into the critical area. I'm kind of mixed on that one, but areas that already have a lot of population growth should be seeing more population growth, in my opinion, just because you are going to have more of that infrastructure there already for them. You're not disturbing more of the rural character of St. Mary's County. And I do think that's one of the great things that the 2050 plan does. It really tries to preserve a lot of the ability to be in St. Mary's County, be in Lexington Park or California, and drive another 10, 15 minutes and be in a really rural part of St. Mary's County and really feel like you're part of nature again. And look, honestly, the 2050 plan is not set in stone. If you're someone that wants to voice your opinion, maybe you weren't part of the 1% that did before, it's time now to reach out to your county commissioners and let them know exactly how you feel. If you're for it, if you're against it, if you want to see some changes, you just need to let them know. And there's tons of candidates right now out there promoting, their beliefs and their views on the 2050 plan and where St. Mary's County should go. You should align yourself with them and support the ones that you think have the best idea to help move St. Mary's County forward. And like I said before, my opinion is I don't want St. Mary's County to be frozen time, but I don't want St. Mary's County to lose its character. And I do think the 2050 plan does have some elements in it that is definitely going to meet both of those criteria. Look, if you have any questions or need any help, if you're moving to the area or trying to sell a house here, use the contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help any way that I possibly can. Thanks for watching this video and hope to see you on the next one.